"You sound like you just got off the boat." He said it loud enough for everyone to hear. She didn't correct him. She just wrote his name down. The room had gone quiet in that specific way rooms do when someone crosses a line, but no one knows what to do about it. She kept her pen moving, didn't look up, didn't smile. The man across the table, mid-40s, pressed shirt, confidence that came to easy, leaned back in his chair like he'd just made a joke everyone was too slow to get. But no one laughed, not even nervously, because something about the way she stayed silent made the air feel heavier than it should have. He didn't notice, or maybe he did, and it just didn't matter to him. Either way, he kept talking, and she kept writing. But here's the thing, underscore. That moment, that one careless sentence, it wasn't the beginning of something. It was the end. He just didn't know it yet. This is a golden heart story for anyone who's ever been underestimated because of how they sound, where they're from, or how they look when they walk into a room. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had someone dismiss you not because of what you said, but because of how you said it? Drop a comment. I read every single one. Now let's go back, because this story doesn't start in that conference room. It starts years before, in a place most people only see from airplane windows. She'd learned English from cassette tapes, the kind with the pause button worn smooth from being pressed too many times. She used to sit on the kitchen floor with a notebook, rewinding the same sentence over and over until her mouth could wrap around the sounds. "Thank you. Excuse me. I would like to apply." By the time she came to the States, she was fluent. But fluent doesn't mean invisible. It doesn't erase the rhythm your first language leaves behind. The way certain vowels stretch, the way some consonants land softer than they're supposed to. She noticed it most in meetings. The slight pause before people responded to her. The way they'd smile a little too kindly, like they were doing her a favor by listening. She never said anything. Just worked twice as hard, stayed twice as late, learned the names of everyone's kids, everyone's coffee order, everyone's birthday. She thought if she was useful enough, the accent wouldn't. It didn't work that way. But she kept trying. Because what else do you do when you've already come this far? He'd been with the company for 6 years. Senior operations manager. Good at his job, or at least good at looking like he was. He had a way of speaking in meetings that made everything sound urgent and important, even when it wasn't. Especially when it wasn't. People listened to him. Not because of what he said, because of how he said it. Loud, certain, American. He didn't think about that. Why would he? It had always worked. He'd seen people come and go, consultants, temps, quiet women in the back of the room who took notes and never pushed back. He didn't learn their names unless he had to. This one had been around for a few months. Older, accent he couldn't quite place. She smiled when he talked. Nodded a lot. Didn't interrupt. He liked that. Made things easier. The meeting was supposed to be routine. Quarterly review, projected growth, minor adjustments to workflow. She sat near the end of the table. Notebook open, pen ready. He was midway through a sentence about client retention when she spoke. "Excuse me." Her voice was calm, quiet, but clear. He stopped, looked at her like he'd forgotten she was there. "There's a discrepancy," she said. "In the third quarter numbers, row 18. He blinked. "What?" "The percentage listed doesn't match the source data. It's off by 4 points." Someone shifted in their seat. He glanced at his laptop, scrolled, frowned. "I don't see." "Line 18, she repeated. "Column F." A pause. Then one of the junior analysts cleared his throat. "She's right." The room got quieter. He stared at the screen, then at her, then back at the screen. Okay, he said slowly. So we'll just that. Thank you, she said. And that should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Because 5 minutes later, when she clarified a timeline issue, he exhaled through his nose like she'd interrupted him on purpose. And when she suggested a resource reallocation that would actually save the department 6 figures, he smiled. Not the good kind. The kind that comes right before someone says something they think is funny. You know, he said, you sound like you just got off the boat. Silence. She looked at him. He looked back, still smiling. Maybe stick to the numbers, he added. Leave strategy to the people who've been here a while. Her pen stopped moving. Just for a second. Then she wrote something down, closed her notebook, and didn't speak again for the rest of the meeting. 2 days later, he got an email. Subject line: meeting request urgent. Sender: executive office. He didn't recognize the name. Figured it was HR. Maybe someone wanted to smooth things over. He showed up 7 minutes late. Walked into the conference room expecting a mediator and maybe some temple-tied apology script. What he found was her, sitting at the head of the table. Alone. No notebook this time. Just a tablet, a glass of water, and an expression he couldn't read. Sit down, she said. He hesitated. Where's he? Sit. He sat. She slid the tablet across the table. On the screen, a corporate filing document. Owner and principal shareholder. Her name. Her signature. He looked up. She looked back. I bought this company 9 months ago, she said, through a private trust. Very few people know. His mouth opened. Nothing came out. I've been working in operations, she continued, because I wanted to see how things really ran. Who led, who followed, who did the work, and who just took credit for it. He tried to swallow. Couldn't. You're good at talking, she said. I'll give you that. She stood. Walked to the window. Didn't look at him. But you're careless, and cruelty pretending to be humor is still cruelty. I didn't mean. Yes, she said quietly. You did. The room felt smaller. I'm not firing you, she said. He exhaled. Yet, the air left his lungs again. You're going to fix the department you've been coasting in. You're going to do it without cutting corners, without taking credit for other people's work, and without making anyone feel small because you think it makes you look big. She turned, looked him in the eye. And if I hear you mock anyone's accent, their English, their background, or anything else they can't control ever again. She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Over the next 3 weeks, something strange happened. He started staying late. Not because he wanted to. Because he had to. She'd reassigned him to work directly under one of the junior analysts, a woman from the Philippines who'd been with the company for 8 months and had never once been acknowledged in a meeting. Her name was Lucia. She was brilliant, and she didn't suffer fools. At first, he tried to take the lead. Old habits. She shut it down immediately. You're here to learn, she said, not to teach. It was humbling. Painfully so. But slowly, very slowly, he started to see things differently. He saw how hard Lucia worked. How many of his own ideas had actually come from her notes. He saw the way she codes switch depending on who she was talking to. The way she made herself smaller in meetings. The way she apologized for things that weren't her fault. It was like looking in a mirror. Except he'd been on the other side. One night, around 9 p.m., she walked by his desk. The owner. The woman he'd mocked. She didn't say anything. Just set down a coffee. Extra cream. No sugar. The way he took it. He stared at the cup. Why are you doing this? He asked. She stopped, turned. Doing what? Giving me a chance. She thought about it. Because someone once gave me one, she said, and I almost didn't take it. She started to walk away. Wait, he said. She paused. I'm sorry. She didn't smile, didn't nod, just looked at him for a long moment. I know, she said, and kept walking. 3 months in, he thought things were better. He'd been working hard, showing up, listening. He even started speaking up for people in meetings instead of over them. Lucia had started trusting him. He thought maybe he'd earned his way back. Then the email came. Subject restructure notification. His position was being eliminated. Not fired. Restructured. He'd be offered a lateral move. Different team, different manager, less visibility. He felt the floor drop. He went straight to her office. Didn't knock. You said you weren't firing me. She looked up from her screen. Calm as ever. I'm not. This is the same thing. No, she said. It's not. Then what is it? She folded her hands. It's a reset. I've been doing everything you asked. You have. Then why? She stood. Walked around the desk. Because you're still thinking like someone who's owed something. He opened his mouth. She raised a hand. You've worked hard. I see that. But working hard after you've hurt someone doesn't erase the hurt. It just means you've finally started doing what you should have been doing all along. His jaw tightened. You want me to what? Disappear? I want you, she said, to stop trying to get back to where you were. That version of you, it wasn't earned. It was given, and you didn't even realize it. She sat on the edge of the desk. The new role is real. The work matters. But you won't have the title. You won't have the stage. You'll just have the work. She looked at him. And if that's not enough for you, then you were never here for the right reasons. He left without another word. He spent the weekend alone. Didn't tell anyone what happened. Just sat with it. Turned it over in his mind. He kept coming back to one moment. The meeting. The joke. The way she'd looked at him. Not angry. Just tired. Like she'd heard it all before. Like she'd been carrying it for years. And he'd just added to the weight. He thought about his mom. Immigrant. Cleaning houses to put him through school. The way people used to talk to her. The way he used to feel ashamed of her accent. He hadn't thought about that in years. Didn't want to. But now he couldn't stop. If this story is reminding you of someone you've underestimated or someone who underestimated you, share it. You never know who would be happy you did. Monday morning, he accepted the new role. Didn't negotiate. Didn't complain. Just showed up. And worked. 6 months later, she called him into her office. He'd been expecting this. A check-in. Maybe an exit interview. Instead, she offered him his old role back. He stared at her. Why? Because you've changed, she said. And more importantly, you've stopped trying to prove it. He shook his head. I don't want it. She raised an eyebrow. I like where I am, he said. I'm learning. I'm actually useful. She smiled. A real one this time. Good. She slid a folder across the desk. Then here's what I actually called you in for. Inside a proposal. A new mentorship initiative. Pairing senior employees with new hires from underrepresented backgrounds. He looked up. You want me to? I want you to remember what it felt like, she said, and make sure no one else has to feel it here. He nodded. Slowly. One condition, she said. What? You report to Lucia. He smiled. Deal. As he stood to leave, he stopped at the door. Can I ask you something? She nodded. Why didn't you just fire me? She leaned back in her chair. looked at him for a long time. Because I didn't come here to punish people, she said. I came here to build something better. She stood, walked to the window. And sometimes that means giving people the chance to be better too. He nodded. Even when they don't deserve it? She turned, looked him in the eye. Especially then. Thank you for being here. For listening. For staying. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. And one last thing. What part of this story stayed with you the most? Tell me in the comments. I'll be reading. This is Golden Heart Stories. We'll see you in the next one.